Prologue. 20 years prior. Mother Nature can be a vindictive bitch when men attempt to play God. Of all the weapons at her disposal, to punish them for their impertinence, she chose two of the most mundane to execute her bidding: a leaky valve and a summer breeze. This scathing act occurred on a salt flat in the Nevada desert known as Groom Lake, or, and more popularly to the locals and millions of conspiracy theorists around the world, Area 51. In this desolate place, under the shroud of governmental secrecy, American scientists busy experimenting with genetic material inadvertently contaminated a water cistern. Before the internet went permanently dark, chat rooms exploded, speculating that the material in question was alien in nature, that a probe sent to Mars to retrieve samples had returned with more than just soil, a claim of which no one ever provided definitive proof, and in the end its origin was irrelevant. What was relevant that bright blustery day was a spigot inexplicably sprung a leak, allowing thousands of gallons of water to gush out over the arid wasteland. The toxic mixture evaporated under the glare of the desert sun, leaving the particles suspended in the air. Mother Nature smiled. Talk about the perfect opportunity. The gusty wind played into her hands, carrying the vapour eastward across the United States. Reminiscent of a swarm of locusts, it fanned out, cutting a swathe of annihilation in its path. Neither did she limit her wrath to America, exploiting the jet stream which blew the deadly cargo across the Atlantic to Europe and points beyond. Man, as a species, needed to pay the ultimate price. By the time the winds had circumvented the Earth, half the planet's population had succumbed. No one was untouched, and those lucky enough to recover continued to endure the repercussions. Too numerous to be disposed of, corpses accumulated as fast as leaves in autumn, spilling into the rivers and streams, choking off and contaminating sources of fresh drinking water. The insidious blossoming of typhoid and cholera precipitated a second wave of death. An atmosphere of terror pervaded every corner of the globe. International pharmaceutical companies vied to develop countermeasures, experimenting with exotic cocktails of antivirals and antibiotics. Normal rules did not apply. Time was of the essence, and without the luxury of being able to run the usual protracted battery of tests, the industry relied on government propaganda to persuade the survivors these miracle medicines would be their salvation. Regrettably, the cure turned out to be more lethal than the disease, and too late they realised Mother Nature cannot be halted by man's frenzied interference. She simply mutated her weapon. Adding insult to injury, the hapless victims who had placed their faith in the hands of their governments discovered the virus, combined with the unproven antidotes, altered their DNA. So drastic was the corruption that, instead of it taking generations to evolve, the impact was immediate. Like a cosmic crapshoot, no one could predict how they would change. Some developed an increase in muscle mass, while an expanded mental capability affected others. It was hailed as a new beginning for humanity. The jubilation was short-lived. In a pattern repeated since the dawn of time, when differences elicit fear, civilization reverted to type. As the genetic anomalies manifested, instead of embracing them, the remnants of humankind splintered off into societal groups. The strong became farmers and learnt to cultivate the land by hand, as had their ancestors. By tacit consensus and in a bid to derive a sense of preservation, they established enclaves in what remained of the cities around the world.